All right, so step two, now we are going to be building up the team. We're going to build up our heroes. And so we're going to need to leverage a superpower and a tool here that enable us to do that efficiently and lovingly. So we're going to go to another classic movie and we're going to talk about Morpheus from The Matrix because, come on, if there isn't a better example of a mentor who looks and finds the hero that can unlock the future, that can unlock the mission, but doesn't see themselves as that hero, it's Morpheus. And Morpheus sees his role as the nurturer, as the mentor for Neo. Morpheus is not the one, but Morpheus knows that he has an important role to play in the mission and the journey. And so Morpheus nurtures Neo. Morpheus takes on this persona of a loving mentor. And when we say loving mentor, it doesn't mean that he's always lovey-dovey and giving him hugs. What we mean is that he's taking time and effort to really cultivate Neo's skills and capabilities. He's thinking hard about the skills that Neo is going to need to have and the steps that he has personal accountability or ability to take in order to make that better. Morpheus is always a step ahead of his learner. He's making sure that his development path is laid out for him. And it's not, once again, just like Gandalf, too prescriptive. He allows the situation to kind of roll itself out, but he makes sure that he's always preparing, always preparing. And even one example that we see is with Neo, he doesn't just outright tell him all of the things that he knows up front. He doesn't put all this pressure on Neo right from the beginning. Instead, he kind of allows him to understand it over time. What does it mean to be a part of this matrix system and what role he has to play? And that's an example of some of the best leaders that I've ever seen. It's not about proving how smart we are. It's not about proving how much skill that we have to give to somebody else. Instead, if we put the focus on the other person, on the learner, on the team, then we can truly work together to accomplish a purpose. Brian, talk to me about the tool that we have to be able to do this, because this is one of the most fun tools that we have at our disposal.
So I love the dojo, right? This concept of the training ground, which is made very explicit in the Matrix movies, like it's a separate virtual reality space that you can kind of go play around with the rules with impunity, right? But the idea that you take a learner and put them in a situation where they can learn some key lessons about or learn key skills that they're going to need in a relatively low risk environment. It's not that there are no consequences, it's that there are no consequences that endanger the higher level mission or really endanger the learner, right? And so our example in this case, of course, is a literal dojo, is a place where you can go and have martial arts training and have combat and get punched and feel terrible, but but you're not at true risk. But what Morpheus does is he uses this to sort of explore the boundaries of the box. He uses it to get his team to understand what they can and can't do, and that many of the things that they thought were impossible are actually totally plausible. Like they just need to figure out how to approach it. And this is really important because you don't necessarily want to be learning these lessons while you are facing the risks of the production system, while you're facing the risks of the real mission, while you're at the critical moment where you have to succeed. You want to have spent time offline building up those muscles, building up those reflexes. So things you can do as a leader with this approach, right? You can, of course, in the nurturing space, you can look for people who are ready to level up. You can look for people that are ambitious to be more skilled than they are today, to take on more responsibility than they have today, who are dissatisfied heroes, who maybe already believe in the mission, but aren't really sure what their role is going to be. And make them feel like Neo, like make them feel like, hey, you're special. You're the one that's going to save us. I'm going to show you the way for you to become extraordinary. And then curate opportunities for them to learn and grow with relatively low risk. You can give them a mentor or a teacher that will shadow them and give them feedback. You can do it yourself. You can give them space and time to say, okay, I want you to just go run some experiments and get really good at this new technical framework, or try this new experiment and then come back to us and tell us what you've learned so we can incorporate it into our daily jobs, right? You can let them propose improvement projects in their own areas. You can have canned projects that are going to get them to learn the thing that they need to learn, and have them go through the experience or go through educational experiences that will be valuable for them. These are all things that are available sort of to the dojo to get the team together to the point where you have the training montage we see in the middle of the movies we love, and they're now ready to go.
And I think it's important also to allow someone to fail in this stage of the journey. We see it often in movies when you're at that rising action part of the story. You're building up. Like you said, there's a training montage. Generally, the next thing that happens after the training montage is not, oh, let's go punch the supervillain in the face and that threat's eliminated. No, there's an opportunity to fail after that and to learn and to grow and to become an overcomer in small things before we're asked to conquer larger things. And so that is something that we also see Morpheus doing. He cultivates first in the dojo in a totally safe environment, then in a slightly more dangerous environment, building up to the most dangerous environment when it's all on the line, and we get to our next step in the journey where it's time to make a sacrifice in order to change the world.